I just, okay. Since I have to leave shortly, I had asked Marcia to let me go first. But what I was going to talk about was cold porcelain. And if you haven't ever worked with it, the consistency and all that is very similar to like Fimo or really any of the clays, but it does not need to be baked. So you work with it cold and it stays cold. What that means is, though, you have to be careful how you store it because it can dry out pretty easily. So the best thing is like a couple I have it wrapped in some saran wrap and then in a Ziploc bag tightly, and that seems to keep it for a fair amount of time. You can't buy cold porcelain, or if you can, I don't know where, but it's not that hard to make. It's basically cornstarch and glue, I think, with a few other things thrown in.
Well, that gives us a where do we go with that?
No, I wasn't done. It was not, there was no period at the end of that sentence yet. That was a comma.
Okay. Oh, okay.
There are lots of recipes for it on the internet, which is where I was going. Bettina Murda, who is the one I've taken classes from. I have her recipe. I will ask her if it's all right to share it. Sorry. I give up. We are
cat sitting.
Cat sitting. We're not, these are not ours. This is my grand kitty. And he loves me, which is lovely, but not
He
when I'm
also
on
loves
the
to be in
computer.
a Zoom
Back up.
window. He wants his attention.
I believe Catherine Gray of Templewood Miniatures does sell her mixed for cold porcelain.
Oh.
Excuse me. But that, of course, is going to be postage to UK. So,
you know, one suggestion for storing it, if anybody has a seal a meal, maybe that would work.
That would probably be a good way to do it. One of the things that's interesting about it is it actually shrinks as it dries. So for miniatures, that's a good thing, because if your final product is a little bit bigger than you'd like, it will shrink. Not a lot, maybe, oh, I don't know. I really don't know a percentage, but maybe 20%, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That 1/8, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
I had a whole bunch of stuff that I've done, both in class with Bettina, and I couldn't find any of it except one piece that I'm going to try holding up. I don't know, Marcia, if you can spotlight. Okay, let's get it in the right spot so I can actually see as well. There we go. So this was at the National Convention we took. As you can see, it's not very big.
No.
And it's a cookie jar. So the lid comes off.
Oh my goodness.
Could you hold it up a little more, please?
I'm sorry.
Up a little. Could you hold it a little higher, please? Thank you. Yeah.
And it's that was the cat's
That's a cat.
tail. And I caught it. Because it would have but we've lost all the cookies.
Oh.
What I was about to show you is it's full of cookies. Oh, you miserable beast. They're all over the floor.
Oh.
You are fast.
Grandbaby of a minute ago.
You are fast, Elaine. No, you caught it.
Right.
Well, I caught the cookie jar. Anyway, it's got a tree on the back. And what is fun with this, so a couple of things. You can mix paint in it, make it any color you want, but you have to use oil paint. Okay. But you can also let it dry and then paint it. So Bettina had actually made the basic structure for us. And then we painted all the colors, the door, the snow, etc., on it after it had already dried. And that you can use regular acrylic paints, any kind of, you know, whatever you would normally use as a craft paint.
What about alcohol inks?
You can use alcohol inks I'm pretty sure you can mix it with them. as well as paint on them with
Oh.
it. The problem with acrylic is too much water in there, and that doesn't work well with the clay. Whereas the oil paints apparently don't change the texture of it, just color it. Fun to
That's it.
work with. I have not yet made my own batch. Everything I've had from her classes, and we always get lots of extra clay to keep and play with. But I definitely want to try making my own batch one of these days.
Okay, anyone
Problem
else
is,
use
I
code
think any
cold porcelain?
batch makes a lot. So I'm kind of thinking wait until my miniature club is meeting again in person so I can share it.
Sorry, is there anyone else who has used cold porcelain, has done any optics or anything?
I'm about to go down on the floor and look for the cookies, so.
Okay,
That is adorable. Elaine.
Before the cat eats them.
yeah, okay.
Exactly, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
In the chat box, would you put your name and which ones of the polymer clays, the puppy, the COS, the liquid, whatever, that you have worked with or that you have something to show and tell? And we'll start with the CosClay. If anyone's worked with CosClay or knows anything about it, what little I know about it is that once baked, it's flexible. So like if you make a doll and there's wire armatures and you put the CosClay on it and bake it once, you can bend the arms.
Oh,
There's videos on CosClay and they have like a octopus or something tentacle and they pull it out and let go and it snaps back.
oh,
If it's baked more than once, it's solid, like Fimo or whatever. Evelyn made a wonderful doll and showed it to us and everything, and the legs and arms moved and all of that.
my.
And that's about all I know about it. I've not used it or anything. Has anyone else used it?
Marcia, do you buy it
Yeah.
already made, or is it something
Oh,
you mix?
no, yeah, it's already formed. And I think it's something else that takes extra precautions storing.
And how do you spell it? COS?
COS clay.
Okay.
And you can Google it, look it up online and find it and find videos about it and all. It's very interesting.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, no one has used it or anything?
I've
You
never
said you fire it one time, it's bendable, and if you fire it twice, it's solid. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can't, bake it and then add something and bake it again, like you do with Fimo.
You bake it in just a regular oven?
Yeah, just same as the other clays. Yeah.
Emo. Okay.
Okay, what about puppy clay?
Puffy clay. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, puffy.
Yeah. Has anyone used that?
Does it shrink up or does it stay puffy?
Is it the clay you get from Ruth Stewart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she uses that quite a bit, I think, in some of her cakes and stuff. And again, I know nothing about it really. And I sent out several messages asking people who have done anything with puffy and liquid and all to come join us. But anyway.
The only thing I can say about the liquid clay, it is a lot easier to use in those teeny tiny spots that you can just pour it in, and as opposed to take a clay and try to mold it in and make sure you get all the little crevices. Because sometimes after you do that, it'll pop right back out. So the liquid clay is easier as far as that's concerned.
And I know Kathy Price uses it as glue,
Mm,
putting
Well, in a
pieces
way,
together
yeah.
and refiring, and then they're welded together, the liquid clay.
Hmm.
If it's one that you can bake more than once.
I
Yeah,
use it if I'm making ears that I put on afterwards, because normally holding a head, I will squash the ears, whatever I do. So I don't put ears on at first. Make little ears, but I join them with the Fimo liquid clay before I
Oh.
put them on to make sure. Just a little brushing of it. You don't need much.
mm.
Not runny or anything, but it helps. You can also use it if you make little tarts, and you can use it as a jelly because most of it's clear, and so you can see through.
Oh, okay.
There are liquid clays that come in different colors too.
There are, and they all of them seem to, all of the people who make the polymer clay seem to make a liquid version as well,
Mm.
just for joining things, I think mostly. That's how it started.
Sharita, good to see you.
Hello.
Hello,
How's
hello.
everybody? All my devices are not charged, so
Oh,
I'm on this one. Yeah.
so what experience have you had with all of the different weird clays like CosClay, puffy, liquid, whatever?
Well, liquid I love. I mix it with oil paints, and like if you make a donut or something, you can just write, like it's chocolate, like a chocolate sauce or something on there.
Mm.
But I like the liquid polymer clay.
Any of the others that you worked with?
No, I haven't. Just like your basic, your regular polymer clays, the
Yeah.
Sculpey and all that kind of stuff like that, but not CosClay. I have some, but I haven't used it. Yeah.
If you use liquid clay, you have to bake it, correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Same way. Yeah, you just bake it the same. The I think the temperature and the time is about the same as regular polymer clay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Marcia, I was going to add one more thing before the furry little monster sent my cookies flying, literally. I don't think I found them all, but I found some. Anyway, what we did with the cookies, which were just cold clay, the cold porcelain clay cut into shapes and allowed to harden. And then we painted them with the dimensional paint that you could get
Oh,
for doing
yes.
on fabric to
Oh,
make like a raised frosting on them. And they're so tiny. I don't honestly think there's any way I could show it to you that you would be able to see them. But we used the dimensional paint and then sprinkled them with a little glitter. So the cookies look like they're frosted with glitter frosting and a little bit raised above the
right.
surface of the cookie.
Yeah.
So that was a fun effect and easy to do.
Okay. Anybody have anything else on any of these clays?
Marcia?
Yeah.
I've used one by Crayola. I don't know what it's called, but it's an air dry clay by
Oh,
Crayola.
Model magic.
Model magic, yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Model Magic. I color that with acrylic paints
Yeah.
and make
Oh.
different the bread. So the breads are different because no bread is white, especially
Right.
like French bread. So if
Right.
you mix, it just mixes right into it. Acrylic paints.
Yeah. It's very fragile though. You got to be careful because it'll break easy after it dries. And when I made bread, I mixed, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a raw sienna with some glue, and I brushed that on the top so it browned my bread.
Oh, I dry brush use dry brush it on there,
Can do that
like
too,
to get
yeah.
the baked look, and then dust the cheap baby powder on it to get that powdery look on there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Something
Sharita,
like
have you ever used chalk? The person that I took a class with, and now I don't remember who it was, used chalk on the bread.
Well, you might as
Like
well
the
say it's
pastels.
chalk, because if you use the cheap powder like from the dollar store, it's just chalky. It's not. It's no white, none of those little sparkly crystals.
Right. Well, the nice
that.
part about chalk is it comes in a million colors.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we did like a light tan, kind of color, as
Mhm.
you say, so it would look baked over
Yeah.
the top of it.
Yeah,
But when
eyeshadow.
when you use that acrylic paint with the Model Magic, and
Mhm.
you could don't cut the bread. If you break the bread, it'll get a natural look to it. Just break it, but you got the color through it, and
Mhm.
not on the
Yeah,
surface.
that would be good.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
also
good.
use powdered eyeshadow. Oops.
Oh,
I
that
use
would
brown.
work
There you
too,
go.
So that's
sure.
good. That works well.
Yeah, with Christmas coming up, you'll see a lot of those eyeshadow kits with 1,000 colors in them. Just make
They're
sure
good.
there's no mica in it. It's got to be flat.
Yeah.
Say that again, please.
Those eyeshadow kits that are out at Christmas time with all them umpteen colors in them.
Yeah.
They make good substance to use, but make sure that there's no mica in it. The
No
ones with the
mica.
sparkle.
Okay. Oh,
'Cause they
okay.
have
Gotcha.
Sparkly
That's
baked
what I thought.
goods.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if you're looking for a brown color, look at some of your powdered foundations for Black people. 'Cause some of those have some nice colors too.
And Susan added in the chat box that chalk pastels work great.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think the cat just shut Elaine off.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw was fur, and then the screen went dead.
One trouble with the chalk though, the pastels, they've changed a lot of the colors and you don't have that good color for baked goods anymore. They've changed it.
Oh,
Hobby Lobby has some chalk, and they have kind of like different sets. Some are more like a brown grouping and a past,
good.
different groupings of colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Holding up
I
set
look
of
in the
chalk
makeup aisle.
Say that again?
I look in the makeup aisle.
Oh, look what Wanda's holding up. Is that chalks, Wanda?
That's chalk powders that I use on clay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
And
Yeah.
Okay, I hit the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah, you shut her off.
Oh, she went there. Try it again. There.
Okay.
There.
Oh, yeah.
Chalks.
then this is some inexpensive ones that the dollar store sells.
Ooh. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay.
Probably see the price on it. It's probably $1. And somebody mentioned the artist pastels.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got all those.
she has a little of everything.
I actually got those at
Wanda has it.
what we have in Canada called Value Village. I paid $1 for them.
Cool.
And another thing I use is these powders here from oh gosh, it's from Micromark.
Oh,
Okay.
weathering powders. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're really funny because they got some really odd names. Like this one is called Gritty Yellow.
Yeah.
That one
Okay.
here was Mildew Green.
Oh, I like that.
I think there's Grimy Black and everything here. So they're really weird
like
names.
those.
They're funny.
Yeah. Makes it more fun to make things aged when you have those good names.
And you remember the names as well.
Right.
Yeah, mildew green.
This one's Muddy Red.
Oh,
And that's one of the things that's on the agenda for next year is realism of weathering and that sort of thing.
weathering and aging.
Yeah.
From the experts.
Yeah.
Yes, and Wanda is one of them.
We expect
What was
Wanda
that
to be there.
question that I needed to ask Wanda because she's the expert on paints? Does anybody remember it?
No.
No.
I don't remember what you were thinking at the time.
I don't remember what I did yesterday. So
But you said I should ask Wanda, and now I can't remember what
Well, that probably went in one ear and out the other. Huh.
If anybody's going to the Tom Bishop show in Chicago, there's a 2 classes on aging, like bricks and buildings and sidings and stuff like that.
Wow.
That's if you're going to the Tom Bishop show.
Who's doing them?
I don't remember offhand, but it is on the website.
I'll have to look. But I'm not going, so it probably won't matter.
Be interesting to see what things they used.
Yeah.
Preble, don't you have anything to show us this time?
Rebel's hiding.
Uh-huh.
You're
muted.
muted.
I tilted my head and I was like, oh, you can't see me because I've got my video on. We're talking about polymer clay. I really haven't done a whole lot in polymer clay.
Me either.
And I mean, I've got a few pieces that I could show. I mean, if we really want to go there, I do have some. I think they're probably right here, but being able to see them, they're so tiny. I'll show you 2 things. First of all is, I don't know what kind of clays these were made with, but they are super, 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 super tiny.
Oh, wow.
They're cool.
Yeah,
They're very
my
cool.
finger is next to them.
Yep.
And so yeah, super tiny. I think some of them would be like teapots and 1/4 inch scale. Gotta add that scale. Here's some food, which that's my new thing. I'm decided I need to start collecting.
Okay.
Looks good.
Janet Smith used to make a lot of 1/4 inch food.
Yeah, and I just got something off of eBay that was something she had made that was for a house party as one of the gifts. So, all right, so here's something. I don't know what I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what Sarita said, but this is a mold that she has for bread.
Oh, cool.
And I just dropped all the bread out. It just fell right out because it's all dry. And I did something to my computer.
And you didn't even need a cat to do it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay, so let me hold one of these up with some tweezers so you can see them. But
oh, yeah.
see the little dimension that comes about. And this mold's very easy to use. You just pop things in, you put it in and then let it dry. And I use that Model Magic that I believe Shirley mentioned.
Rita too.
Yeah. Rita did too, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And I used that recently to do my bakery, the food for my bakery for the Robin Betterly kit.
Oh, yeah.
So I was very happy to be able to use this.
I use paper clay for some
I
of the
made some,
things.
but I also used some of these too. So, okay.
Where did you get the mold?
Sharita.
Ah, Sharita.
And if Sharita wants to make some molds of some other foods, I would probably buy it.
Yeah,
but it has to be 1/4 inch.
Bread.
1/4 inch scale. 1/4 inch scale. So there's something for you to work on.
Okay.
We want you to be busy, Sharita.
It's just a marketing tip or suggestion.
if you look in nail art, you will find similar sorts of molds, some of which have things like bread, tarts, and all sorts of things. And they do them in several sizes. The smaller ones are ideal for quarter scale.
I couldn't find any when I went looking again, Rusty.
Who was that?
Are they
Rusty?
not around anymore? Because there was a lot at one stage, wasn't there?
Oh, I don't.
I will tell you one other tip. Okay, this really only works in larger scales or a limited number of things in smaller scales, and that is hot glue. And you start out with like a metal finding or and that sort of thing, and you can make a mold of it by putting hot glue over it, and then once the hot glue is firm, you can peel that away and peel your piece out, and then you can put clay into it or like the Model Magic. Now, the caveat is that it can't be something that's intricate, as in, let's say you had a bell and it had, you know, like a rim around it, and, you know, it's got that, you know, center piece. That's not going to work because you need something that can go up inside and outside. That hot glue is not going to work. But if it was something solid and you wanted to make it, you could put hot glue over it and then, you know, work with it. I've seen it done and then tried it myself with like a little lion's head, you know, something flat that you know, you want to make multiples of for some whatever purpose. So that's another option.
Sometimes the 3-dimensional buttons might work.
Yep. Yeah, if you find a 3-dimensional button and you want to make another one. Now, just with those, they're plastic and hot glue is hot. The hot glue, the regular temp, not the low temp, is better because it's going to take just a little bit longer to flow and set up before it sets up, where the low temp is going to interact with whatever you're putting it on, and that's going to immediately start cooling it a little bit, and so it would have less time for it to spread out and cover, so you're more likely to get bubbles. But hey, it's a cheap medium that you could, you know, do it again, you know, multiple times until you get one without bubbles or spots.
It's a great idea.
Never thought of it. Yeah, I'd never thought of that. Huh. Glue. I hate hot glue though. I always burn myself on it.
Well, that's the only thing that I recommend hot glue with miniatures. I will take that back. I've used hot glue on the bottom of a hard surface to make a little foot.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah. Never thought of it.
Okay, anything else? Questions or comments or show and tell about any of these clays?
I really have not done a whole lot with clays, and I consider myself clay
Deficient.
clay disabled.
Challenged. Clay challenged.
Yeah, there
Clay
you go.
challenged. I am very clay challenged. It's just, I end up just grabbing it and rolling it in a ball and throwing it in the garbage. I've had very little success with some clay things. Most clay things I tried, but got a few things, but I couldn't.
I'm in that same boat, Barbara.
Yeah, I'm very clay challenged. So that's one of the things I choose to buy if I'm going to. Give me a piece of wood, I'll do something with it. But
yeah. How soon will the video be up of this?
As soon as I can get it converted and put up.
No problem.
At
Hey,
least by tomorrow, I think.
Jackie, do you make your dolls with Fimo?
Partially,
Okay, I'm just curious.
partially. Yeah, I do. I think it's a doll clay. It says it's for dolls.
But you've not tried the CosClay for movable.
I have not tried it. I have not. I haven't ordered it. I don't have any.
Kit Cropper, I don't know how many of you remember that name, but she used to make miniature bears and all kind of little miniature things like that, but especially little teddy bears. And she used a lot of Sculpey and sometimes mixed Fimo and Sculpey because they're two mediums that Sculpey is a little more, it's a little softer than Fimo. And you can get it much thinner. Because she had a thing, and remember the old Nutshell News when they were little?
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s, I think.
They
or
would have
beginning of
in the
90s.
back the how-tos kind of.
Yeah, she had a whole thing on making one of her little bears, and I was able to do it with it, but I was able to get it so thin to make, because she made ribbons out of it. She made bows and ribbons out of it. That's how thin you could make it with Sculpey. And I actually did it. That was way back when I was a whole lot younger, and oh gosh, there are some things just don't work the same anymore.
You say that,
When
but
I made my dolls for the my book scene, I used this stuff called Pro Sculpt. It's for dolls. So it's a flesh tone. That way I didn't have to do any coloring or anything like this.
Oh, that's
And with my arthritic fingers and hands, this one doesn't kill me as much. And I don't even know if they still make this, to be honest. I bought these a long time ago. It was Johnston's original art dolls. And this was their light color right here.
My.
So
So I don't.
baking
Was it
clay?
like a baking
Yeah,
thing?
it's just, you do it just like polymer clay.
I see.
You know, however thick your thing is, you bake it, you know, that much longer because the thickness of it.
Right.
But mine were so small when I made them that it only took me like 15 minutes to bake everything because I was making children in quarter scale. So,
Oh yeah.
and heaven forbid, if you guys could have actually seen my children, you would say they didn't look like kids, but you couldn't tell where they were sitting.
The last time I went to Hobby Lobby and picked up some clay, I saw that they had clay that Hobby Lobby, I think, was producing. And of course, the price was less than Fimo and Sculpey.
I saw that too the last time I went.
So have you tried it?
How was it?
No, I just stuck with the regular Sculpey and Fimo for the time being.
Oh.
Since I have a whole bunch of that, instead of trying to mix their new
Buy
stuff
more.
with my old stuff.
I was a little surprised when I saw it. I was like, why is that there? You know?
Be interesting to see if some of these store brands, how they compare.
Yeah.
I bet they're made by the same companies, just this is their, like Carolyn was talking about her brushes. I know when I went to things with my marketing class, they hid the labels of the companies that they went to because we were only allowed to know their label, not anybody else's.
I went to a wholesale show in Las Vegas and there were a whole row of companies, so like 20, 30 companies that you would put your name on their products, but it's, how to get your stuff out there with your name on it.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah.
I do that all the time with suppliers. We have 2 private labels and names, and I just contract suppliers to make them for us under those names. It's pretty common practice.
If we only knew who really made things.
Oh, yeah.
And go right to the source, yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure if you can go right to the source, you'd be saving a whole lot of money, but then you probably have to buy a ton of it at a time.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Carolyn, you do a lot with polymer clay. Have you tried any of these others?
I basically have stuck with Fimo. When I started out, there was only Fimo, Sculpey, and Cernit.
Yeah. Cernit doesn't get mentioned.
Cernit. No, that's the one that Kit Cropper used to use with Cernit. And it's the one that goes so thin.
And the Cernit was more translucent. So we were always told that was really good for like flowers and for certain things, but not necessarily for food. See, all right, again, we're going to go back a million years, but if some of you, have been around a while, you'll know my teacher was Mary Ecker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Panikins. And I've taken some classes from her and gone through some of her articles and stuff in the Little Nutshell News. And that's how I got started. And then I just started experimenting and stuff and like taking off from there. I've used Sculpey in the white. I didn't like Sculpey. Now this is personal choice. I didn't like Sculpey because I found it was too soft and I used to squish stuff. I like the Fimo because it was stiffer. The Sculpey, when I had that and you'd make something, the next thing I knew I'd squish it because it was soft. You know what I mean? And then everything's out of shape and all kinds of things like that. I didn't really like that as much. That was my big thing with that. I've used it occasionally for little bits and pieces here or there. A color, if I can't get it for anything else, I have used it, but rarely. I usually stick with Fimo. The liquid polymer, I said I used many years ago to do jam in a little bowl because I was trying something different. Everyone was talking about it. So we tried that. I'm half and half with it. I really don't use it. But again, a lot of it's personal choice and just I haven't experimented really with some of them. So, if I went out and bought some of the other clays, actually, I just bought a week ago. Fimo had something at a leather effect.
Yeah, I saw that at Hobby Lobby too.
Yeah, I bought a package of that last week because I want to try something with it, but I haven't done it yet. So I don't know what's going to go with that. Because even Fimo, because they've got like 3 and 4 different kinds now. They have the Fimo effects, have like the glittery stuff in it. They have the soft. I've had to use Fimo soft because they've changed some of the colors on me that I used to use. So I've had to use Fimo soft because you can't get it in. They keep changing the formula. Makes me crazy. It was Fimo, then it was Fimo Classic. Now it's Fimo Professional.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep changing it. I think you can only get Classic if you're lucky now. Some places still have it, but only like in black and white. And you have to get Fimo Professional. And some places, like if you go to Michael's and stuff, only have like about 3 or 4 colors. They have basics, like a blue, a red, a green kind of thing. Whereas if you go on Dick Blick, they have more of a range of colors in that. And that's a little bit stiffer clay, but some colors you can't get in that. So, but I've seen the CosClay for dolls and that, but since I really don't make dolls, I haven't tried it. I was on, just crazily, I was on Amazon, I guess again about a week or 2 ago, to try something and looked up like clays, and there were some like odd brands on there. Huge range of all kinds of colors you can play with, but I haven't heard of some of these places, and I think it's coming, they're either off brands or store brands, or they're coming from overseas or something, and I couldn't even tell you what they all were. It was mostly like under the kids' crafts section.
Yeah.
Different kind of clays and stuff. So I don't know, but.
And are Japanese clays different than some of ours?
Yes.
Probably.
I say that because Pat Richmond from Twin
Yes.
Hearts, that's where she gets her clays and that's what she uses for her stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But also there's believe there's a Sculpey.com, and there's a polymer clay or was it Polymer Clay Express. Those are online stores that sell different kinds of clays and the different tools and stuff like that as an alternative.
Mm.
Yeah, I used to have several sites like that bookmarked
Yeah.
when I couldn't find stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Fluffy that that you were talking about, Marcia, that Ruth is the only person. It's made by Sculpey, apparently. The same
Yeah.
company that makes Sculpey makes that. I have done searches and searches and searches to try to find that because I have a few of Ruth's molds. Some
Yeah.
I've tried, some I haven't yet. And you can't seem to find that anyplace.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
do they call it, does Sculpey call it Fluffy or does she call it Fluffy?
No, I've seen the packaging. It's called Fluffy.
Mm.
They have it on it's Sculpey. You can kind of get it through their site, maybe. But it's not something you can just go to, like, at least not around here in New York or anything I've seen. You can't walk into Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something and buy that.
No.
No. And I think Valerie said Hobby Lobby had their own kind of clay. I was trying to decide if, when I was in Michael's last week looking at clay, if they had some kind of clay also, the Craft Smart or whatever Michael's brand is, that they have paint and stuff now, is Craft Smart
Yeah.
their brand.
I saw the paint, but
come out with something too.
I did not see a different brand of paint or, excuse me, clay for Michael's. Because
Well, they got, yeah, like you said, Craft Smart is their brand.
Be interesting to know who manufactures it.
Oh no.
Maybe even on the fine print, it'll probably say by Hobby Lobby or by Michael's. So
yeah,
you can't go around them.
Stuff by Michael's, I think, comes out of Texas or something.
Yeah.
It says like manufactured
Irving,
for
Texas?
Michael's in such and such, whatever. Irving Branch, Texas is their thing or
Irving,
whatever.
I think Irving,
it doesn't
Texas.
tell you specifically who makes it.
I have to tell you something funny. I had to get up and go to the bathroom, and I was texting somebody, and it must have gone on to record on my texting, and it recorded the conversation. And I have to erase it all because I don't think my friend wants to hear all about this. So I'm busy deleting all of it. It's taking me a while.
Okay, anything else on clays? Anyone can think of?
Mm.
If not, I will end the recording. If I can figure out how to do that.
I found this is Kathy. I found my old cold porcelain clay thing that was from years ago at a Nashville convention.
Oh,
wow.
That was a class by
That's cute.
Oh,
Tina
Yeah.
Murda.
Yeah.
It looks like Bettina Murda's kind of class. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
I didn't
nice.
take it off the toothpicks. And I bought this of hers.
Oh, that's cute.
All their names start with a C, and
Mhm.
so maybe it's like that.
The other way.
A little cake that she made.
That's cool.
And you do realize that the souvenir this year at Indy, was one of hers, a cake.
Yes. Oh, and I loved her little grapes. I bought those at a show that she.
They are. Oh, those
Oh,
are beautiful.
nice.
They're so
Wonder what they
shiny.
use for those.
Yeah.
I got some of her Disney little Mickey Mouse ears and little Mickey lollipops.
Okay.
At the show, at the Indy.
Uh-huh.
I did have a recipe for cold porcelain, and I know you use like Pond's cream, face cream in it. That's one of the things on it when I made it. And I think it's Pond's. I mean, it was a specific brand, but my hard drive died and I was able to recover some of it. So hopefully I was able to recover that. And I don't think it was by anybody in general, but if I find it, I'll post it to the group's files.
Carol, send it to me. I've got several recipes on my computer, so anyone who has recipes or where to find recipes, send it to me and I will put a file on.
Okay.
Ray used to share hers. She did share her recipe at the time.
Yeah, so Jackie, that one too then. Okay.
I'm gonna sign off, girls.
Okay.